in a land where the sun kisses the earth with golden fire, where the wind carries the whispers of ancestors, and where every promise is sealed not just with words, but with cattle. There lived a story the elders still tell, of a wedding day that never was, and of the cows that never came home. The village of Moyo stirred with life. Clay pots simmered over open fires. Women ululated in celebration. Men gathered beneath the shade of a great musasa tree, speaking of bride price, respect, and union. Inside a cool, dimly lit hut sat Emily. Draped in traditional attire, beads resting gently against her chest, her hands folded neatly in her lap, yet trembling ever so slightly. Around her sat her aunts, her mother, and elderly women of the family. Time passed. The groom, John, was expected at the 13th hour. But now, the sun had shifted. It was 14:30, and still nothing. Outside, tension thickened like storm clouds. Aunt Marian paced back and forth, her phone pressed tightly to her ear. "Still not going through," she muttered. Mr. Moyo, a man of dignity and pride, stood rigid among the elders. "Try again," he said, though his voice had begun to crack. But every call met the same answer. Silence. Phones switched off, voices unreachable. The villagers began to whisper. Has he changed his mind? Maybe there is trouble. No man delays on such a day. Inside the hut, Emily swallowed hard. Her heart knew something her mind refused to accept. This was not a love born of haste. For 2 years, Emily and John had walked side by side in the city, through crowded streets and quiet evenings. They had built dreams together, plans, promises, a future. He had met her family. She had met his. The bride price had been agreed upon. The cows had been counted. And John had said, "Everything is ready." But a week before this day, something changed. Under the shadow of quiet conversation stood Irina, Emily's closest friend, or so it seemed. She leaned toward John, her voice low and careful. "You deserve to know the truth." She spoke of betrayal, of secret meetings, of Emily and her boss. She spoke of a past filled with shame, lies woven with precision. And in John's mind, doubt took root. Months before, a moment had already unsettled him. A car, late at night, Emily stepping out. A man, her boss, opening the door for her. What John did not see was the broken handle inside. What he did not know was the simple truth. But suspicion does not wait for truth. Then came the opportunity, a job in a faraway land, Australia, a new beginning, or an escape. On the very morning of the wedding, while the village prepared, while Emily dressed in hope, John boarded a plane. No farewell, no explanation, only instructions. Switch off your phones. And so, he vanished. Back in the village, reality arrived like thunder. Mr. Moyo exploded in anger. "You have shamed this family," he roared. His voice cut through the gathering like a blade. He blamed his wife, his sisters, the upbringing of his daughter. The celebration turned to ashes. The whispers grew louder. The laughter, gone. And there, beside Emily, sat Irina, holding her hand, whispering soft words. I don't understand. He loved you. But behind her eyes lived the truth no one else could see. Jealousy had spoken, and love had been destroyed. The sun began to fall. Golden light stretched across the land. Outside the hut, Emily sat alone, still dressed as a bride, tears tracing silent paths down her face. In the distance, cattle moved across the plains, but none entered the homestead. In our tradition, cattle are not just wealth. They are honor. They are promise. They are truth made visible. And when they do not arrive, it means something has been broken. That day, the cows never came home, and with them went trust, love, and a future that would never be.